Hello, welcome to episode 157 of We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard, King of the Pirates. No, just kidding.
Every week, Stevie Wildcard and I, King of the Pirates, get together and we eat some devil fruits and we get various powers that allow us to just demolish and devastate and destroy our issues and all the various problems that life throws our way. Really, what we do here is every week, Steve Wildcard and we get together. We've been trying to make comic books for a million years now. Recently, we've been actually pretty successful at it. Steven, how are we doing this? What are we doing?
I don't know how we're juggling everything we juggle, but we got the juggling
fruit.
hands, baby.
I think we ate the jug fruit.
The jug fruit.
I don't think we should be doing this and talking about jugs. I don't think
maybe it's this motion.
so Steven and I have been trying to make comic books together for most of our lives now, and recently we made a book. We made a couple of books, and they're all up here. Thankfully, people have been watching our journey as we're going through all of this. Most recently, we've been working on a supernatural action horror comedy book called Deathless. We're on issue 2 right now, and Steven, your art in this book is my favorite thing in the world. I've been lettering this book, and it's like as I'm lettering, I'm just like, oh, this is so cool. I want to show everyone read this book, and I just want to keep showing everyone, like panel by panel, and I can't do it. So every week we get together and we talk about like what we've done. What did you do this week?
So I wanted to finish. If you know me, if you follow the podcast, I always fall just a little short. I always overshoot my shot and miss. But I got every last person that is to appear in the book is in it, and we literally just have one more page to shade.
Yes,
which will literally be done tomorrow, and then Anthony's lettering away like a beast.
Yes, I am. So I am on, I think I just finished page 9 of lettering, and tomorrow I took off work and I'm going to get at least 6 pages done tomorrow while Atlas is in school. And then I also, next week when Atlas goes with his mom, I did take those 2 days off of work completely.
Amazing.
So I can finish. Like I'm going to, this book will be if we can't finish it by this week, like this weekend, it's next week. It's completely done off to the printer.
Digital rewards go off too. I mean, like that's so right. Cool.
Heck yeah, dude. And so that's where we are. I can't freaking wait. This book is it's making me so excited. I'm also I'm feeling so much better about my lettering lately. I feel
it's looking so good. I love the idea. I'm just a sucker for coordination. I've said it before, one of my and I know this is why we were talking about One Piece, but I know why I'm gonna love shows like One Piece and stuff like that is the Zelda formula, where it's place boss. I love that. Yeah. Simplicity but that even boils down to color coordination. Brian's powers are green, and seeing his font in the green and black is just wonderful to me. It just makes my brain glow with happiness. I can't explain it.
Yeah, no, I like playing with that kind of stuff, and I was pretty excited. It's sometimes it's a little intimidating to be wait, is this the right font, or is this the right shade and size and color and all that, but it's our book and we can do what we want. And I like it. And I think it's looking really good, so
and I think one of my favorite parts about lettering is obviously it can hurt the artwork too, but these pages that are already so busy looking in a good way look better with it fills out the pages. I love seeing the bubbles because it just fills out the spots where I've left for bubbles, because I left spots a little less detailed for bubbles on purpose. But to finally see the bubbles cover where I intended them to cover and stuff like that,
I mean, every once in a while I'll catch a spot where I'm ooh, we didn't plan for the amount of dialogue that I stupidly wrote.
I think you're talking about the punch page, right?
Yeah,
the red and black punch page.
There are a couple of them where I was just okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna have to shift this stuff around. But I love this process because I get one final pass at making jokes or punching up my dialogue a little bit or tightening things and doing that stuff. And I get to do that. And if I were to just ship it off to someone, they'd just give us exactly what, I wrote down, which should be good. There is a process. I could go through several drafts and make sure it's, up to snuff there. But I like our process. I like being able to just do a couple of quick drafts, show it to you, make sure it's good, work on all the art and stuff, and then be able to just finalize it,
just basically be a ball of clay the entire time until until that ball of clay looks like a sculpture to both of us, basically. Exactly. And it's awesome. It takes time doing everything together, but the creative process means we control every element of the project
Oh man,
through and through.
I like it this way though. I like
Mm-hmm.
the only thing. So I'll tell you. So the other thing we do in the show is we talk about what we've done, and then we get into like our various issues, things we've been
Mm-hmm.
experiencing. Things that that have distracted us, things that we're just going through. Dude, I'm going through. I'm sorry. Like I started to go through. I think it's my work. I think it's work related, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
like
I've seen you've been going through some bummer times at work, and
yeah.
that sucks.
And that's what happens. Like I have to remember. So what's been happening lately is I get in this mentality of like, I need to do more. I need to get out of this. I'm better than retail. I need to stop this. Why am I tolerating this? How do I do this? What do I do? Do I look for a new job? Do I, so I'm like, I start spiraling on those various, in that abyss.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's like when I'm doing that, it sucks because like I don't ever want it to seem like I'm not thankful for where we are or like appreciative of like how much we've grown and what we've been able to accomplish and it's like I do want to do more, but
Mm-hmm.
I have to remember that just because I had four ridiculously angry ignorant customers in a row doesn't mean that my life is spinning out of control and I'm miserable. Like it's
Yeah.
just like that doesn't define the entirety of my existence.
It's tough though. I get it because I had that period a couple months ago with my work where I was just overwhelmed, no AC. Like I was freaking. I was like done with life at that point. And like, yeah, I know exactly. But continue. But like, I feel you. Like just in a different way. I feel you though.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, so it's like I've been going through my thing where it's like it's funny because I get to kind of experience this in like in a self-aware way where like I see myself from the past, like kind of like the times the flat circle thing where I'm just like
Mm.
we've been through this before. It's like we've been through the comic book like oh, hey, it takes us a long time to make a book and I'm like, "Oh, I wish it didn't take so long." But it's like, yeah, but just being angry about it doesn't make it faster. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't, but it's like there's not much we can do. Like I knew what this was when we started it. That's why we call it We Have Issues, because it's fun, it's funny. And I just like I wanted to bring it up just because like for me, I need to like prioritize a little bit, like and when I mean that, I just mean like I get really worried about like the podcast, right? Like so like we put out like an episode last week and I was like, yeah, we're gonna help our friend his book and we're gonna like here we are and like
And honestly, it was fantastic conversation. We always have an amazing time with Steve.
we really do. And like I think he's one of our favorite guests. He's one of our best friends that we've met on social media in general. And he's one of the coolest people we've met in the comic book, community. But for some reason people just didn't show up for the episode, so like I start feeling guilty. I start being like what did like I was saying like what did I do wrong, like what did like what happened, did I not do enough, like do people hate me, do people not like what we're doing anymore, are they sick of this, like and you start thinking of all these
The
reasons.
spiral, the death
The spiral,
spiral.
exactly. And like but we both know we've been through this where like we know it's just a cavalcade of like, reasons. It's a whole cornucopia of nonsense, of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
It's what are you gonna do? It's just everyone has various reasons, and sometimes those things just align in such a way that we're not their priority, and that's okay. And what I have to remember is the podcast is here for this so we can continue to make books together and continue to do this and just so we can hang out and be friends. But sometimes I think of the podcast as the thing that I want to be successful instead of the books.
You get lost. Yeah, you get lost in what's the thing that we're
Yeah.
actually doing, which it is the comics, it
And it's
is the movies, it
yeah.
is the stories,
Yeah,
right?
and it's so funny, dude, because like I think what happens is it's the thing that this is the thing that I end up working the most on and spend most of my time like sharing because it's what we have the most of. I'm like, this is the majority of our content. Most of the stuff that we make in the world is this podcast. And it's like, hey, here are all our conversations, here are our feelings, here are our experiences, here in such a way, like it feels like here's us, in like this bucket, and like I hope you like it. And like, so when it doesn't do as well, I feel like we're not doing as well. And I'm like, oh
Mm.
no. But really the whole point of it is the journey, is the process, is the friendships and the, doing this. So
And we've just known from the start, like when we take on interviews, it's risky for us because it just seems to be like our audience prefers to hear you and I be Anthony and Steven. That's what the audience, the friends, the fans, whatever, they just like us being us. And when we interview, obviously what's happening is Anthony, Steven aren't engaging.
Right.
Anthony is engaging guests. Steven is engaging guests.
Right.
So I think there's just a misfire on our interactions, which
Right.
probably just causes less watch time. It's very simple on their part. It's not like it's out of spite or anything like that. It's just like,
yeah, and
they get busy and, you know, they can pull away from it for a second. And
yes. Yeah, dude, and that's true, and it's so funny because I mean, like, you know, there are so many so many things it could be that could keep people away from any particular episode. Like, who knows who's going to watch this? If you're watching this right now, thank you. We appreciate you for being here at all. If you haven't subscribed, please hit subscribe. We really appreciate it. If you want to check out our books, all the links are below and everything. But yeah, dude, the craziest thing is like like if we were all at like a party together, right? Like you and I would sit down and we'd be having a conversation and other people would join and we'd continue to have conversations and maybe people would come and go and like I go get a drink and I come back and Steve would be talking to you about something and then I'd join and but it's like I do always feel like you and I like at parties or in a group would always just like, hey, this is us having this conversation. Here we are. And I don't really know how to continue to do that publicly with a third person when the focus is supposed to be on the person, but also it's our show. And I understand that if there's an audience for a show, so it's, I don't know, it's just like this weird, confusing situation where I'm like, I never want to.
We're both just being courteous, I think is what it is. We're both just trying to be like, we want the spotlight on them and everything like that. So like, we just don't engage each other ever. We feel like that's robbing them of time, you know?
Yeah. And that's very true. And it's just like, I want to keep having guests on. I want to meet more people and you know, keep doing what we can to you know, but just boost as many books as we can in the community and like get, you know, get these books made. But it's like I also stress out so much when things don't go well. And it's like, why? I hate that. I don't want to like, I don't want the podcast to be I don't want the podcast to be an issue. I want the podcast to be the thing that like allows us to reflect and capture and express our issues that we have, you know? And it's just,
and these are issues we are literally sharing right now. Like these are like the worries and the thoughts that we have in like regards to this thing, because like although I mean Spotify's looking good so far. Obviously they moved the goalpost on us, but
I'm so mad about that. Okay, for those of you who don't know, I mean, this is all stupid, like inside baseball type of stuff, but like we're trying as much as we want the comic books to succeed so we can like work less so we can work more on comic books and work more on storytelling and movies and all this other stuff that we really aspire to do. We want the podcast is one of those things. It has there is potential for it to be monetized. So if we're on YouTube, if so many people watch for so many hours, we have a chance to put an ad in front of it and we get monetized. We make some money on this thing. If we go on Spotify, if so many unique listeners listen to any random episode, so many unique listeners listen, we have a chance to get monetized. Previously on Spotify, it was 100 unique listeners. So we just started. We're like, yeah, we're gonna try pushing this Spotify thing. We just started. We got to like 88 or something, and then the next day I was like, oh, we're gonna get there. We're gonna be at 100 today. We got this.
Proof we're in the Matrix.
Proof we're in the Matrix. They shifted it from 100 unique listeners to 1,000 unique listeners, where it's like, we don't have 1,000 people listening to our goofy show, like not like maybe one day if you're watching this in the future and you ever see that we have 1,000 views on something, thank you, comment below and say, hey, look what you did it.
We did this like together.
Yeah, I've been saying, tell us when you jumped in, because holy crap, thank you. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I try not to like spiral too much about that stuff, but like that pissed me off because I was like, we are this close, we are so close. And every once in a while, I feel like we're Paula Abduling it, where it's like two steps forward, 3 steps back, where it's like we were so close to doing this thing. But oh well, what are you gonna do? But like you were saying earlier, like we juggle a lot. We do so much with our, our lives. We're both parents. We're both working. We're both, in relationships.
Both in couples. Like, I mean, like that's the thing is like the hardest thing to juggle is just like what you're saying. Like it's everything that you are. And like the truth of the matter is we only have so much time a day. Yeah. And something is going to miss out.
Yeah. Of course,
if you're doing something, it's just how it works, and that's just the way it is. So it's like sacrificing time with the kids maybe a little bit in the evening, or sacrificing time with Tina,
Yeah.
or like sometimes you have to do those things and you don't want
Mhm.
to do those
Yeah.
things, but like it's just the name of the game, and it's the and you just have to have amazing people behind you. Like my wife is incredible, like Tina is amazing and supportive, and you got to have those types of people propping you up, otherwise, because they're basically to some extent getting a short end of the stick from you. They deserve
Sometimes,
more of you, but
yeah, of course. Yeah,
you
dude.
know
And what's crazy is you have to choose those moments too, because
mhm.
I don't know if I don't know about you, but like I find myself, if I don't choose those moments, they get chosen for me by just like me being burnt out, or like I'll find myself, Atlas will be playing a video game on the couch, and instead of going and working, I'll just be like, I just need like a minute to like rest, and like I'll go to on Twitter or whatever, and I'll like
And
steal,
then time is gone.
and time is gone. Like you steal little moments instead of using your time, like you steal little moments and then all your time just like evaporates. And it's like, wait, no, crap. All of that, like these little bits of time should have just been a chunk right here where I worked on this. But
Mhm.
instead, I didn't. I was just taking a breath. And like sometimes that's necessary, sometimes it's good. Like everyone needs rest. But I'm not talking about rest. I'm talking about like time you could be working or doing something specific, and you're opting for other things because you're juggling. You're so busy.
Mhm.
Like I'm so busy thinking I have to always have one foot with the Atlas and one foot over here and one foot over there. So I'm half-assing everything instead of whole-assing anything. And it's
And that's the way I tell Tina all the time is I feel like I'm keeping the water from completely boiling over on every pot I'm managing.
yeah,
I'm basically like water is pouring over, but it's
yeah,
not a mess yet
right,
anywhere. But nothing is clean either. Everything, everywhere, everything's spilling. And
yes,
I'm like, I described it because I was, being a server. I said it literally feels like that 2 hour dinner rush where time just disappears and you don't even know what the hell happened to you. You
yeah.
just like, oh shit, I forgot that guy's ketchup. And I was at like 6 o'clock and it's 8:30 now. Like it's just like it's so crazy how that happens if you've ever served. Like
Yeah.
you'll just be like, oh, the ketchup. And like it was like 4 hours ago. That customer never even cared they're gone. Like you just remember randomly. You're just like the ketchup. No.
No, that's why my tip was slightly lower.
I
Oh.
deserve this fate.
No, it's true, dude. And but like that's something that like I'm trying to work on. That's why I wanted to bring up like prioritizing like emotionally, like not like not being too hard on us for not getting a lot of views, or not being too hard on us for not doing more books. And like because I think we're doing great and our book looks amazing. Like I mean,
Yes.
dude, like I posted like it totally made my day. Like it was so
Dude, that was
silly.
so awesome.
It's so silly how it like it's okay. So earlier I was lettering and stuff, and like I saved this picture of one of the characters. It's just like a little square image of one of the panels from the comic, and I posted it on Twitter. And Olin Rogers was the first one to comment on it.
How cool is that? I
It
love
was
that
just
guy.
like, looks great. I was like, this is amazing, man. Like, what is my life? Like, what is our lives? Like, how cool is that? I was like, Olin Rogers is the first one to comment on it. I didn't tag him. I didn't like.
I love it though.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Well, he's just an incredible person, man.
Oh, he
I
really
mean,
is.
he really is just a human, he's a cool human being.
Dude, I'll tell you, like after he did that, I was like, oh, why did we not do like try to get our foot in the final space graphic novel
I
door?
just didn't, I wanted to let him know, like, I'm just thankful that he's here. And like, I didn't want
I
to
know.
like be like,
That's how I
because I'm
felt
not
too.
trying to use him for a step up. I'm
I
genuinely not
know. I
like,
know. But
I just like the dude. The dude's cool. The dude has cool stuff. And
that's
I don't want to even be like, I think about that all the time with like Josh Eppert on
that's
Twitter. I'm
my
like,
fear. That's my
I
fear
want to
too.
send him a comic, but I also don't want him to think like, oh, you followed me, so now I'm gonna utilize.
I know.
I'll
Dude, like
just play in the shadows for years.
you know what it makes me think of? You know what it makes me think of though? Like, and it sucks because it makes me think of like those people who are like years later, someone's like, I always had a crush on you. And you're like, you did? Why didn't you make a move? I didn't know. Like, and it's just
I
like
was really hoping you guys would want to do like a side like quest in the final in the final space
like
final
no,
space novel.
but like I saw him post some pictures, some, and the book looks amazing. The
It's
art
so
looks
good
so
looking.
cool.
It literally looks like animation cells just taken straight from the show. It's nuts.
But like the coloring is so cool. I can't
Oh,
like
it's
the way they're
comic
coloring
coloring
is
is just
so
so
good.
sick.
But like the lettering, I was like, and like no knock on them, and like however they want it to look, good for I'm sure it'll be cool. but I was just like, I can do this. I was like, I could letter that. I see things in that like could be improved, which makes me feel cool, like makes me feel good about like my lettering like status and where I'm going, because I'm like, I am improving, I am starting to see things and recognize things that I didn't before. Like my first ever attempts at lettering, I was just like, I was kind of in the headspace of like, oh, as long as you can read the words in a bubble, who cares how it looks, and now I'm like, oh no, there is like an art and structure to it, and it should look a particular way where it's like almost invisible, or like like you don't notice it. Once you notice that, unless it's like an expressive sort of lettering situation, it's messed up somehow, like something's amiss, like when the words are all kind of janky. But I was just like, I can do this, and I was just like, do I message him? Do I ask him if they're looking for a letterer? Because they like last we knew they're still looking for like the people who are going to work on it. I was like, but if I do that, is he going to think like, oh, look at this guy just trying to use this
Yeah,
connection? It's like,
because like him saying no is no big deal to you, but
exactly.
like it puts this weird pressure if he's thinking of it that way, and then like we
Yeah.
don't want that. Like I don't
Yeah.
want that, like I don't want. I know you don't want that, but
No.
like it's so tricky
Yeah.
being like what we are at times because of that weird because confidence and like there's so many different things that play, right? Like there are times where we should be more confident, but there's also times where like that confidence can be manipulative and like
Yeah.
it's just it's tough. It's a tough game. And I always play passive route. That's the easiest way
Yeah.
because I mean usually it has no reward, but it also doesn't really have any risk that
Yeah.
costs anything.
That's true. No reward, no risk. You know what they
No
say?
risk, just live.
No
I
risk,
just
no
want to
reward,
live.
but I'm alive.
I'm alive and I got to eat a burger today,
Hey,
so
listen, that's a reward, okay?
that's a reward.
So, okay. Steven, so we've been doing this stuff. No matter what, we're about to finish issue 2 of this book. We're gonna have it available on our website, which I'm also gonna put like digital copies of all of our books on our website soon. I've been meaning to do that, to like sell PDFs based just out of our own website. Why wouldn't we? Why am I not doing that already?
That's so simple.
It's so
Yeah.
simple. I need to just do it. But so I'm gonna put those on there. And we're going to have issue 2 ready, and I can't wait for people to read this because I do feel like when we do conventions, we have one in December, by the way. It was supposed to be November, but they moved it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, but so when we do conventions and stuff, now we have 2 issues of Deathless that we can sell, and people are always interested in Deathless. So it's like, here we go. Like we always knew like Play It Again was going to be the more like niche. Like we're going to be able to. What I like about Play It Again is we can advertise it to a wide audience of people who wouldn't be interested in comics otherwise. They wouldn't be interested in certain things.
I think my favorite demographic at the cons was like the 30 to 40 something year old like women, like just like the moms basically with the kids that are there in costume. The moms were interested in Play It Again. That's just really cool. Like that's a demographic really that probably cool, doesn't read a lot of comics. I mean, our generation, that's probably, and younger generations that will come, it's going to be more and more common to read stuff like that.
Thankfully.
But like the age groups that we were selling
we were noticing that. Yeah. It was really cool. It was like, and you were seeing these people who would otherwise have no interest in comics or graphic novels start to like hear the story and like, how personal it is and, what it's about, and just, they were all about it. And, we sold a bunch of them, it's really cool. But just the fact that we're going to have 2 issues of Deathless on the table and like working toward issue 3, I can't freaking wait, dude. We're getting close to finishing a book. We're gonna be halfway done once we finish issue 3. We're halfway there, right? Like basically,
or just past halfway.
Halfway, yeah. So
once we're halfway done with 3, we're halfway there.
That's true. Yeah. So, dude, I can't wait. We're getting there. So it's been a weird week, like just emotional. I'm like at the end of this. I think I've just also just been spinning too many plates lately. We just did this live show for Critically Stupid, which went really well. It was super chaotic. Craziest thing I've ever done in my life, I think. So I don't know if you knew about that. So we did like a live show.
Yeah, I was not unfortunately, I enjoyed my time there, but I was spending time with Tina's family and stuff, so I missed it. But no,
dude,
that's awesome that you guys did that.
So it's going to come out this Friday, as the new episode.
Cool.
So everyone who didn't get to see it, go watch it. It's the weirdest, funniest, silliest live show I've ever seen or been a part of. Because the concept was, we went in there and we didn't know what the story was at all. It's a one-shot campaign thing with our same characters, but every time certain little things happened, everyone changed roles to a random role. So my character would be played by someone else, and I would play someone else's character, including the DM. So we
Oh
all
wow.
so as it went, we all got turns to like play the dungeon master and to play each other's characters, and
That sounds like just fun and awesome though.
it was
Chaotic, but
it was chaotic. It was so much fun. What was crazy for me, because I do this, like because we do this show, and I'm constantly aware that any episode could be someone's first episode, and I'm like, crap, okay, we have to explain to them who we are and what we do, like what our book is, and like all that, so like, and not that I have to, but that's where my brain goes all the time, where I'm like, okay, someone's just now dropping into this, and they need some sort of context for our lives. Why should they care at all? So dude, we would switch, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if someone just happened to turn that on, they have no idea what's going on, because we have no idea what's going on. It's insane. Like, it's madness, and it's hilarious. But yeah, everyone should go watch that. If you haven't subscribed to that, go to youtube.com/@critstupid, and you can see that show. Awesome. It's a fun D&D show. Otherwise, dude, I've had so much going on. I know you've had a lot going on too. We're so close to finishing this book. Okay, Steven, I know recently everyone in the whole universe is talking about One Piece, and I know you've been watching at least all of it. So
I'm reading it, I'm watching the anime, and I'm on episode 8 of the live action.
Are you? Wow. How many are there? 8?
I think there might just be 8, because the last episode was very much like the episode before the last episode.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know those are, it's usually,
like I said, I'm pretty sure Arlong is going to be the big bad of this season. Like the finale is going to be Arlong and Luffy's showdown. So like, yeah, that's got to be happening next episode.
So for those of you who don't know what One Piece is, it was a manga and an anime, and now a live action show on Netflix, and it's about a kid who wants to be the king of all pirates, who ate a special kind of fruit that gave him Mr. Fantastic powers. And these fruits exist in the world and give various types of powers, but for some reason people don't eat them as soon as they see them. And like, that's I need information.
You or me, for example, I feel like would just take the risk reward situation. But for some reason, because the people of that world seem to be, whether you're like most people are villagers or they're the Marines or the Navy, I think they call them in the manga. Since the world is it's the golden age of pirates and everyone wants to be a pirate, those fruits take away your ability to swim, and not only swim, but if like salt water is splashed on you, you lose your powers.
Wait, what? Oh, I haven't seen any of that yet. Really?
And the live action makes it seem that way. So I'm not sure, anime manga fans, I'm not sure if the being covered in the salt water like takes away the devil fruit powers too in those worlds too. But
I have so many questions. So first of all, why wouldn't every character have water guns and or water balloons?
There's got to be a super soaker guy, right? I mean,
I would be a super soaker guy 100%.
Against a devil fruit user, super soakers are more effective than your pistol.
Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? 100%. Like, yeah, Luffy wants to come up and he wants to like be all bendy and stretchy. I squirt him in the face, then punch him in the face, like one after another. What are you talking about?
Now, maybe the live action has taken liberties with that, because I think I did read somewhere something about with the feet being in the water has something to do with it. So like when their feet when their feet are in the sea or whatever, they lose their powers.
And that being
something
said,
like that. I mean, I need to read and watch more. So.
I would eat that fruit.
I would eat that fruit. I mean, I don't care what power it is.
I don't care at all.
It could be tiny fruit, and we know what that's going to do to me, and I'm still going to eat it.
Yeah.
It's a power, okay? I can pick locks with it now. Whenever you want to get down, you just step in some salt water, baby. The power's gone.
The power's gone. It's back. My god. Oh my god. So the lockpick dick. Oh my god. Lockpick dick got me. Okay.
You gotta announce your special moves before you do them too. So
yes. So Steven, okay, so did they, as far as you know, because I know, okay, so Steven and I've watched about
We are
10,
babies. We
yeah,
are
we're
babies
babies
in
in
the
this
One
thing.
Piece
I've
verse.
watched about 10 episodes of the anime, and I've watched the first episode of the live action. Steven, as far as you know, do they explain what happens if you just eat some of the devil fruit?
As far as I know, no. Every character that I've seen so far has consumed the entire fruit.
Yeah, because I'm like,
But like, if you're like a pirate king, why wouldn't you share it with your whole crew and
yeah,
just be a legion? You must have to eat the whole thing because like
yeah,
I know in like the manga, the show, and in the
they always
live
show
action,
them.
Luffy eats the whole fruit and he basically complains that it didn't even taste good and he ate the whole thing. It's like why'd you eat the whole,
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't stop eating that guy.
no.
But
That must be like a fun trope for them with in like
oh
manga
yeah,
and anime. Like the main character just has to eat a lot. Goku eats a lot. Luffy eats a lot. Like it's just they must think it's
it's
hilarious.
power and hilarity. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so like, as far as you know, do they ever talk about what happens if you eat two devil fruits?
You can't swim and you get no powers. Or if you eat two. Now wait. So I was reading up on Mihawk and
Okay.
just he doesn't have powers.
Okay.
But it was on Reddit. So one of the commenters basically brought up how the later in the series there's someone that has two devil fruit powers, which is thought to have not been possible. So like it was just in a
Okay.
random comment
Oh
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
Mihawk thread, and I don't want to spoil too much for
What
myself.
happens if you eat someone who ate the devil fruit power?
Ooh.
The devil fruit.
So vampires in the One Piece verse could be really broken.
Yes. Right? Like
Could be
imagine.
like Siler from like Heroes, basically at that point.
Yes. Just going
See how
around
you
and
work.
draining the blood of the
Could you
devil fruit.
imagine chop fruit mixed with like gum fruit?
Oh, that'd be instead. This is like
Just
unstoppable.
like your like limbs are stretching and like you can like throw your arm at someone and wrap them up in your arm and then
Yes.
like
Oh, that'd be incredible.
no that like
So, I mean, do you know, do they ever explain why they call it devil fruit in the first place? Are they all
so
going to hell?
because you make a deal with the devil is what I think Shank says. Like when you eat that fruit, it's like a deal with the devil because you're a pirate more than likely and you can never swim again. It's like you're basically making a it's a one side,
Yeah. I mean,
it's like a genie wish basically.
right, right.
You're not it's not all positive.
I know it's, it takes place, in some unknowable
See, for us,
time.
our lives are not seafaring, so I guess for us, it's like, oh, I guess I can't swim anymore. Oh
And if it
well.
was, I'm just gonna say, if it, in modern day, if it were like that, I would simply have like floaties. I would be like an unstoppable, like gum floaty guy. Like, are you like how you?
I ate the one devil fruit. It's called the float fruit, and like
I can't stop swimming.
I'm a paradox. I'm a paradox. What's happening? The whole One Piece universe just collapses on itself because the float fruit became into existence.
It's so funny that like so I know we're not going to talk much about the show. If you haven't seen it, if it sounds interesting to you at all, I'm sure we'll talk about it because Steven's really into it, and I want to talk more about stuff Steven loves because I feel like I talk way too much.
I just want to add, I think going into One Piece, my favorite thing so far, and it's pretty consistent through all three of the mediums of it so far, is I feel like Luffy is just like the ultimate follow your dreams. Like every person he meets, he listens to what their dream is, and he is just in full support of their dream no matter what it is. Like what I couldn't stand in the way of your dream, even if it means like it hurts Luffy or anything like that. It doesn't matter. Like he is just all, and like I feel like Luffy, like even us, like we have that thing in common where like it's not like Luffy was able to pirate a lot. Like that dude was just a kid. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to be king of the pirates one day. And he had no idea how to do it. And he just went for it. And it's like that. I don't know. There's a lot of positivity in One Piece that isn't really present in some of the other animes I've seen. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of like how, you get to watch him accumulate, these the real treasure is the friends you find along the way.
The found family dynamic is
see
so
his family,
great.
you get to see the family come together and like become the treasure. It's nice to see. While they're also on this like Goonies adventure for this, treasure. It's fun. There are things about Luffy that I was like, oh God, but you know what? Now that we've watched like 10 episodes, it was mostly just in that first episode. Like there were a couple of things in there. I was like, oh,
he's brash.
He's really brash. Like,
But he always tells the truth, I think, to a fault, is what that was like, because you see that play out more throughout the series, and it's
yeah,
not as hurtful. It's
yeah,
more just he shouldn't be
yeah.
saying this right now.
Well, like okay, so like for instance, he meets this one character, like he gets on this ship and he meets this character who is a slave. Like this character's an actual abused slave who's trapped on
Cabin
a
boy slave, yeah,
cabin
Kobe,
boy
right?
slave. Yeah, yeah, trapped on a ship, threatened with death at every turn, can't escape at all. And Luffy's like, "You're an idiot and a coward." Like, okay,
just keep beating me down, buddy.
beat
I'm
him
already
down. Yeah,
living
like
in
no,
hell.
it's real great, Luffy. And then he's just like says some mean things. It was like, okay, you didn't have to say that. Like you could say, hey, I'm here. I have magic powers, and I'll help you. I was just in a barrel, even though I drown if it got one single hole in it. Like when
I'd be dead.
I'd be dead. I am not a smart person, but I called you an idiot. But like, but after
it does ultimately pay off for Kobe. But you're right. He could have definitely gone not as harsh. But like I said, like later throughout the series, from what I've seen, it does seem like he just does not like hold back any information at all. Like
knowing how close they stay to the anime sometimes, like I know obviously they condense things and like knowing like with the fights and stuff that they stay pretty close, like seeing some of that Zoro stuff in the anime, I was like, I can't wait to see that in the live action and see what they do.
Like the Mihawk fight, I don't think he puts the sword in his mouth that much of it, but he does do it. And like, but like the freaking choreography in that show is awesome. Like the costumes are awesome. Like dude,
I'm
it's
excited.
cool.
I'm excited to get to the what's his name, Buggy. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
He did a good job too.
Did they?
Actually, I actually thought live action Buggy was cooler than cartoon Buggy.
Really? Okay, that's
cartoon Buggy was more campy than badass, I guess.
Really?
But this Buggy kind of dances almost that Heath Ledger Joker campy weird line.
Cool. I like that. Yeah. Dude,
I'm excited. Not nearly as dark as the Joker, but
no. The only thing that I kept yelling while we were watching, I was just like, why is Luffy in that cage? Like, I don't understand.
He's rubber, right? Yeah.
He's rubber. Why are like and maybe it's because I'm thinking of Mr. Fantastic. I'm thinking of like Plastic Man, characters who would just like make their way through those bars. And he's more like, as far as what we've seen so far, he's more responsive than he is like.
Which I think I think that's the guy that made the comic or the manga. I think he covers his own tracks with that, because in the anime and in the manga, he's in that bard thing and there's a cannon pointed at him, right?
Uh-huh.
In the live action, Buggy traps him in something different that makes a lot more sense.
Does he? Oh, okay. Yeah, because
I wonder, because like I know the creator is a heavy hand on this live action, so I think he's even going back and like correcting his own like things that maybe he wanted to touch up.
I mean,
you'll see in the live action, it makes much more sense. The thing that Luffy's trapped in makes much more sense.
So I'll tell you, like in that scene, because we just watched that today. The thing that I was like, why did they do this? Was like, okay, so there's this really cool part where you kind of see them becoming a team where like the girl, I don't remember the girl's name, but like she didn't want to
Nami,
yeah. She didn't want to hurt Luffy, so she didn't want to light the torch. She's like holding the fuse and like trying to stop it and all this stuff, and she stops it. And then there's this moment where Zoro saves the day, and then he's like, all these bad guys are coming, and like you see Buggy, everyone's coming, and Zoro looks at Luffy, and Luffy's like kind of makes a face, and I thought he was gonna light the cannon at Luffy and then suck in the cannonball and shoot it back
and then blow it back.
And I was like, this is gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see this. And they didn't do it. He flipped the cannon around, and I was like, oh. Why? Like,
why didn't he didn't need to look at Luffy for that? Like,
because like I thought that was their connection.
You were really hoping for a Wolverine and Colossus situation where those two would just work together as like the
because it was like, what's the because at that point Buggy didn't know what Luffy could do. He didn't, they weren't aware of it yet, so it's just like it would have been so cool to blow right through. They're like, what are you doing? He's killing his own man, and then like it shoots,
and then just bam.
And then you just see Buggy fly through the air, or like a huge hole through him or whatever. It comes back or whatever. But like that would have been so cool. I mean, it was still cool. It's still a cool show, but
like the one thing that the live action I think does with the Buggy and his pirate crew, I feel like I guess it's debatable, but like in the anime, it kind of takes place in two places. It takes place on the ship when they have Luffy trapped and all that, and then it takes place in the town that they kind of blew up.
Right.
Buggy's crew. The live action, it's all in the town that Buggy's taken over. So you
Oh,
see
okay.
you see those familiar faces like
Yeah.
that mayor guy and then
Right.
like the unicycle guy. You see those characters, but it's already like it's pretty cool how they condense that into one location already. Like Buggy's taking over this town. He has like
That's cool.
he's
That makes
basically
sense.
he's created a carnival in their town square basically,
Nice.
and like he's but yeah, it's cool.
Oh, that's
I think
awesome.
you'll like it. I think you like I've liked live action a lot so far. Like I said, I know if I know Tina, she's a binge watcher,
Yeah.
and if she like if we get to the end of season 1 of the live action, she's gonna be like, well, I want to know what happens to these characters.
Right.
Obviously, the live action follows the anime really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I can literally learn these these plot devices that are gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think you're like Sanji a lot. He's like everyone kept telling me you're gonna like Sanji, you're gonna like Sanji, and like I haven't even really met him in the anime yet, but just the live action one is like he's so cool. He's like a cook,
Oh,
and
nice.
he doesn't use his hands when he fights. He only uses his legs. And
Really? Okay,
oh
that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I love
Well,
little.
I love weird shit like that. Like just weird character quirks.
That's fun. All right. So if you want to join in on our occasional One Piece dialogue, just let us know. To comment below, and we'll talk more about this stuff. Maybe we'll make like separate videos for this stuff. We'll see. But
Our
I
one,
just
yeah, I guess we could kind of like follow our One Piece anime journey. People probably would like to see that to some extent, right? I mean,
yeah, we really could. I mean, so if you're interested in watching One Piece with Steven and I, or like I don't know, we might as well do it. We haven't done that with anything else, so why wouldn't It's like it's a huge cultural phenomenon right now. I actually learned about it from Aiden, Atlas's brother.
really,
Is like he loved it when he was a kid, and like I remember like I like burned him a bunch of CDs and drew like the skull on it on the CDs and stuff for him, and it's like it was really cool.
that's awesome.
He was the first person I knew who liked the show, and that was years ago. So
For
yeah,
me, like it's literally been years for me now too. But when I used to play WoW, my arena partner, because I would play at weird times, I would play like 4 in the morning because I would wake up before work. He lived in Australia and he was a huge One Piece fan, and
yeah.
I didn't even know anything about it. But he would always call him Luffy because he had like the thick Australia. But he was like so stoked to read the new,
Well,
all
that's
that.
cool.
It was really cool. So I had heard about it, never really did anything with it. I always meant to, but then
Yeah.
was always so like, oh my god,
It's
thousand
over a
episodes.
thousand episodes. It's 16 hours.
That's
No, 16
literally
days. It's 16 days of content of time.
you could literally watch all of Dragon Ball, all of Dragon Ball Z, all of Dragon Ball GT, all the Dragon Ball Z movies, all of Dragon Ball Super, and you still wouldn't even be like
Yeah.
70% of One Piece's
It's
just main
crazy. It's
series.
it's such a commitment, and so that's why like I will start it. I don't know if I'm gonna finish the anime, but I'll keep watching it, and
Mhm.
occasionally, and I'll definitely catch up with the live action so we can talk about that and stuff.
Like that running joke where people are like, no, it gets good around episode 200.
Yeah.
What?
What?
Like
Can I start there? Is that okay?
200?
Can you
That's
give me like I can just imagine like episode 767 previously on One Piece. Like what? What is it
Netflix
gonna
has this it's like a movie or like a catch
Oh,
up episode, and it literally is just each one of their origin stories condensed into like a 20 or 30-minute episode. It's pretty
really?
cool, like in the
That is
movie. Yeah.
cool. Oh, that's pretty
So
cool. That's what we've been going through and what we, have been watching this week. Steven, every week we kind of wrap up the show with what we're going to do next. So what are you going to do this week? What are you
so
planning?
I just gotta shade that page, and then I'm gonna work on that special thank you page.
Yes.
And then after that, I think you and I should kind of spitball back and forth and try to see and figure out the t-shirt situation. We already basically have it. I mean, there's not really much to do besides just pulling the trigger on it or pulling the pin on it. So like I do want to get that figured out though. I don't know why that's been bothering me. The posters and the t-shirts have been bothering me. We have all the content.
I
It's just
yeah,
the print part of it that we got to figure out.
I am not concerned about it.
Yeah, because we literally have all the files, all the vector images, all the everything we need for those things,
yeah,
So
no, we got this. We're gonna get the t-shirts. But yeah, I'm focusing this week on lettering as much as I can. I'm gonna try to get to like page 15 this week at least, if not more. I'm gonna do my best to finish it. But if I'm shooting for page 15 to be finished lettering, and then next week I'm definitely gonna be all done. So we'll be able to send off the printers and stuff.
after I send my shade, do you want to just send like a no word bubble, just like one print?
Yeah, we could.
Order?
I mean, we
And then
could.
just we can auction that later, like
Yeah. That's true.
Or maybe even just 1 or 2 pages of bubbles if you don't want to like commit to all bubbles or something, just to see how they print also.
Yeah,
I
definitely want
I
to.
know we're concerned about the lighting, although I think it's going to be okay, but
I think it'll be good.
This issue has a lot more of it than the
Yeah,
first issue does. So.
it does. So I mean, yeah, I do want to do like a quick test. I mean, you really only have the 1 page, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. I was gonna say because it's only gonna take a few more days to get it lettered, really. So I mean, like, is it worth it to ship it off? Because they're still gonna have to finalize it and everything. And by the time they even like start printing it, I might be finished
with the word. Like, so you might as well get the
might as well get it like a finished prototype for us.
Yeah. Okay. We can do it that way then. Because what I like about the prototype is sometimes I don't see like rough layers behind like finals or stuff like, and you don't see it digitally, but then like when it prints, it's like the way it prints the layers, you see it and you're like, oh shit, and I don't want any of that, any like random black marks from my pen that I just didn't notice on digital.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. So okay, so that's our plan. So this week I'm gonna get to page 15. You're gonna finish the shading and you're gonna try to do the thank you page. Right.
Yep. I can handle both of those. I'll for sure get those 2 things done. I might want to do a little more though with the other stuff, like posters and stuff like that, formatting.
And otherwise, we love you all. Thank you for listening to us complain and rant and work through our issues. And feel free to tell us about your issues. We're here to support you people, and we're so glad you show up for us at all. And we are so thankful to have you. Thank you for joining us week after week. If you're only listening to this on one of the various podcasting apps, thank you. Thank you so much, but please go join us on YouTube. Spotify's impossible. They hate me. They completely betrayed me. They broke my heart. I don't care about Spotify anymore. I care about YouTube. We're this close. No, I'm kidding. We always get about halfway to monetizing every year, and I'm like, all right, 1 year, we'll get it. We'll get them.
One day it'll happen.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you. No matter how you're watching or listening or consuming this, just know that we're appreciative and we're thankful for you. Anyway, Steven, is there anything you want to say to the people?
I love you guys, and I hope you all are following your dreams and sticking to it.
It was a good one, Steven. I love it. But thank you so much for everything. I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And this has been We Have Issues. See you next time.
Boom. But the live action's been really awesome. Tina's loving that. Cambria loves it. Cambria, it's so funny. The little kids accidentally admit like they're totally attracted to someone without like saying it. Like Cambria's like, oh, like she's like watching Zorro on the screen, and she literally went, ooh, and I'm like, she's like kind of getting older now. So funny. But she's like, he is cool. I'm like, is he like your favorite? She's like, I think Luffy's my favorite character. But there's something about that.
This better not awaken anything in me.
It totally awoken something in her.